Food bank and bicycle repair. That's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to start off with the food bank on Monday. They had a clothes drive that they had built up real big from this other church, the Lutheran church. They had got a lot of clothes that had been donated to them. So they had used the food bank that we go to on Monday, that I go to on Monday. They used their facility for their clothes drive. It was a bigger facility for them. They figured they'd get a bigger turnout. And they did. They got a real big turnout. So they put the word out throughout the whole neighborhood with all the nonprofits. And that was in the area, not just people that came to the food bank. Did they give what do they call that? A receipt that you have to come from, a voucher. That's what it is. It was giving out clothes vouchers. So I got one of the clothes vouchers on Friday. I went. And I was on the PM. I was after 12 because I like doing things after 12. And then I just could not believe how many people was out there. And then the wait was up to 2 to 3 hours. And the reason the wait was so long was because when they got the clothes they packed the clothes in boxes, small boxes to travel, to put them in a truck so they can transport them. So they had to sort through the clothes. They had people just sitting there sorting through clothes, and all they did was separate the men from the women clothes. They didn't do the sizes of the clothes. So when you got there, you had to pick through the sizes yourself, and they put it all on the table. So that would slow things down to a crawl. And they had to pick up the pace because they said you can't try nothing on, because you just got to, see what size it is, and then you just go from there. So I ended up getting not that much, because they had already been picked through, and a lot of it was still in the boxes. So they were trying to rotate people out because they had a short window to work in, and the people was way back in line. There must have been about 100 people out there. So I hadn't anticipated that many people being there, especially on the PM. I figured most people would be there on the AM when they did it at 9 o'clock versus 1 o'clock. But it was a big turnout for 1 o'clock too. So that was kind of interesting because that's probably the first time they did it. So that's, you go through your learning curve when you do something new. You can't, complain about nothing because you're getting something for free. So I got me some boots that I can wear in the wintertime. It's waterproof. Now, that's the key with riding a bike in the wintertime. You got to have waterproof boots to wear, especially going through rain or snow. When you get wet out there, the first thing you'll get cold on your bottom is your feet. Your hands, the second thing you get cold. And the third thing you get cold is going to be your face. That's why they tell you to wear a face mask in the wintertime when you're riding a bike. So you can cover that nose up, especially that nose and them ears, they get cold first. And you get your fingers, you get cold second, and your feet third. So anyway, those are the areas that has to be covered up. This will do good for me as far as riding the bike. It was right size 11, and you can use shoes that already broke in. For me, I need shoes that broke in. And that works better for me because it's hard on my feet to break shoes in. So anyway, that's what happened on that clothes drive at the Monday food bank. But they had another run on Saturday. I talked to somebody that went to the Saturday food bank, a couple people that went to the Saturday food bank, and they got off good on Saturday. It was less people, and all the clothes had been sorted out. So their intention was to get rid of all the clothes, not bring nothing back. So they was able to pick up a whole lot of stuff on that Saturday. I should have went back that Saturday. But instead I went to a bicycle repair that I wanted to check out. These guys, they starting off in business. They repair bikes for free so they can get some practice in. It's like with me with bicycle repair, I had to, pick up a lot of used bikes and strip them down and put some back together. But the ones I wanted, I'll pick back one. One bike would come out of 3 bikes. It might take 3 bikes for me to have enough parts to bring 1 bike back. So that's how I learned how to work on bikes, by building my bikes up and picking up bikes that were thrown out, throwaway bikes, and taking them home, stripping them out for parts. And then the frames that I like, I would keep them and then rebuild them and bring them back with parts I got off of other bikes. So it might take 3 or 4 bites just to get this one bite going. So that's how I learned how to work on bites, because, you get a lot of practice. And, practice makes perfect. Perfect, after you get enough practice, you're doing the same thing over and over again, it becomes second nature to you. So right now, my next step is to learn how to do the shifters on it. I got everything else. I got the front axle. I'm working on the back axle. Got the bottom bracket. I got to get the brakes together. I got all my brakes together. So the next thing to do is the shifters on the bike, and then the back axle. Once I get them two down, I have 90% of the bike together. Then I can take it back all the way apart and put it back together. And that's the key. That was something for me to do this towards the end of my life. As I got to be a senior citizen, that's my hobby. It keeps my mind fresh. It takes the place of me working on cars by working on bicycles. So that's my substitute for that. And doing homemade trailers for bicycles. That's the other key. And, they're not that complicated. My first intention was to do homemade trailers for vehicles, pickup trucks and vans, work vans with a trailer hitch. But that didn't work out for me. So now I substitute that with doing bicycle trailers. So at least I did get something done in that area. That's how I have to look back on that. But anyway, that's what happened on Monday with the food bank. They did the clothes drive. That was the first time they did that. And then the second thing was the bicycle repair on Saturday. I should have went to the other place again. Like I said, on Friday and finished up with them clothes. I would got more clothes, because when I went to the bicycle repair, I found out how they were doing their repairs, and they were just doing minor repairs. They weren't doing no major repairs. But I had challenged them to do the derailleurs with the shifters. That's what I meant. And they didn't step up to that challenge. They adjusted my brakes and checked out my wheel and made it run true. So that it was a little wobbly. So they tightened up the spokes so it could run a little bit more true, so it could run a little bit more even. So I was not impressed with that. Because I seen them doing a couple bites, and the first thing they do is get rid of the derailleurs. So I know they was not up on the derailleurs. I mean, you got bikes to practice on. That's what you do. You practice on putting the derailleur back on and adjusting the derailleur. That's the hard part. Putting the derailleur on is not hard. Making an adjustment with them shifters, that's what you got to know how to do. Because that's the time-consuming factor. But once you know how to do it, it's probably going to be second nature. So that's what I meant with that. Thought they was going to give me a lead on that, but they did not. I was a little disappointed on that. But I can't knock them. They're doing something free for the neighborhood. And they get some experience in by doing it for free. So that's something that one of the neighborhood organizations set up for them to do. Community organization, nonprofit community organization set up them to do that. And they're getting off on that a little bit. They could do better, but this dead thing ain't my thing, so I ain't worried about it. They won't see me again, that's for sure. I have no reason to go back up there because they're not ready for prime time, as far as I'm concerned. But they got a short window to do what they got to do in 5 hours, so they're not trying to do no major repair. But I had put the shifters on and with the derailleurs, so all they had to do was just make adjustments or make an attempt at that. But they didn't even try. So I know they wasn't ready for that. So that was their test, and as far as I'm concerned, they failed that test, but that's okay, they'll get there. It's like I'm going to get there, they'll get there one day. So anyway, that's what's happening in the neighborhood, but on Mondays now, their program runs a little funny. During the during the fall time, because the school be back in session. And this event on Monday, they have after school programs. So a lot of times they might cut the truck down and not take everything out the truck. I have witnessed them doing that one time. So they can get people in and out quicker, and they can start to get ready for their afternoon program with the kids. So this time people been complaining about that they should count the raffle tickets so they know how many bags they got. Count the bags and then dish out raffle tickets according to how many bags they got. So the last 2 weeks they've been doing that. Last week I was lucky enough to get in there because they had enough bags that they can go up to more than about 40 or 50 tickets. But this week they went to 30 tickets, and I was the last one in line. And I was one space from being the last one getting in, but I was the last one that that was going to be chosen to get out. So if I had been one more space up, I would have been the last one in, but instead I was the one that the line stopped at. So it stopped with me this Monday. Last week I was lucky enough to get in. And I noticed they had counted the bags because one lady was saying they should count the bags and they'll know how many, and they issue out that many raffle tickets. And I said that's exactly what she did. She just mentioned she got enough bags for everybody. I know when she said that, the lady that runs the raffle, the food bank, with the tickets, issue out the tickets, I know then she had counted the bags because she said, I know I got enough bags for everybody, so don't worry about that. So people been complaining about that, so sometimes you got to be careful what you complain about. Because now they count the tickets, so when they get about 30 bags, they're going to do about 30 tickets, 40 bags, 40 tickets, and so on and so on. So this time I got caught, because I was the last one. And the person in front of me was the last one, and I ended up being the first one to be in line to be turned away. So I was right at the door when I got turned away. So that was kind of funny. I said, it happened to me. So it happened to somebody else last week. This week it happened to me. But I know a lot of times they might come up a little short with them bags and not empty the truck all the way out so they can run that program a little quicker. You get people in and out quicker and they can sell for the other program, the after school program. So hopefully they ain't doing that. I'm not in agreement with that. If the truck come on full, take everything off the truck and issue it out. And they didn't load that truck up before it come back to be reissued out to someone else. Because they're trying to get rid of it. They ain't trying to store it at Forgotten Harvest. Their job is to get rid of it. So it's my turn this Monday to get caught up in the raffle count, down with the bags. So it's going to happen. So that's the chance you take. That's the other little catch-22 with it now. They might not have enough bags to go around for everybody, but they counting bags now because people complain about them not counting bags, but now they counting bags so people don't be standing around there waiting to see if they're going to be the lucky one. And you know you in there, when the door shut, you're going to get a bag. So that changed the game a little bit. So anyway, that's what happened with Monday and Saturday. But on Thursday, we still doing the senior citizen thing. They're still doing their thing on Thursday, and people are still complaining. I remember this one lady in line, this one guy, he was complaining. He first in line, they line up at the door for the senior citizens. And then sometimes they stand up there half an hour before the door open. But they want to make sure they're first in line because they always going to get, it's easy to get bogarted out of line. You usually lose your spot in line because people be crowding that one door area. And this one guy was complaining because he ain't hip to the game. But one of the senior citizens was telling him that the program been shut down before because of people complaining. And they don't have to give you nothing. Everybody think that they should have the second choice after the houses. But they keep forgetting that the members get the second choice because they do the work of sorting out the food, and they volunteer to do that, and they pay their church dues. A lot of people forget that they pay their church dues, and that's what makes it possible for that building to be open, and the lights to be on, and the water to be running in the building, and the building to be there. We as a community, we don't come in and pay no dues. We don't help pay that water bill or that light bill or that gas bill. But you enjoy the facility, and they open up the facility to you to enjoy it. They don't tell you can't use the bathroom, and you got to wait outside till we open the door. They could do that. Some places they do that. They make you wait outside. They don't open up the facility for you. They do theirs outside. Like this other Thursday church, they don't open up the facility for you. They got a basement. They could do it in the basement. They do it outside. So you don't have to be transported back and forth. You know what I'm saying? In and out of the building. This one does that because they got enough help for the houses. People that in the houses that are homeless, that's their job is to help unload that truck. So they got enough help to do that. But they could drop that load right there outside and just set the tables up and have you go for it like the other event does. But they'd rather be inside the building and do it inside the building, so they'll open up the building for you. And that's to your advantage. But there's always somebody complaining. Says one lady, she took the time out to try to tell them that this program can't be shut down. You get anything, you're supposed to get just that, what's left over. You're supposed to get first choice, but you just can't stop people from complaining. That's the amazing part. You just can't stop people from complaining. So he was complaining, but she was trying to set him straight. And she was a senior citizen herself, and she had been there long enough to see the program get shut down from people complaining. But you tell people that, and it seems like they just go in one ear and out the other. They just can't comprehend that they would shut the program down, that they obligated from getting the food from Forgotten Harvest to giving it out to the community. And you just have to constantly remind them they ain't obligated to do nothing. This is truly a gift from God that you get this for free, and that they give it to you for free because they don't have to be bothered with you and your attitude. So they don't come in there with an attitude, but they still come in with an attitude when they think people owe them something. And shortchanging them. When they're not being shortchanged, they were giving them long change. Another one person came out with a basket full of food. That basket was, not full of food, all the food, but they had a lot of bread and stuff, but that basket was on full. And when they got there, that basket was empty. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be time when you're going to get a whole lot. There's going to be time when you ain't going to get a whole lot. You're going to come out real short. So it goes as it goes. Maybe that's what's happened with that. And as far as me rocking and rolling with these bike lanes, they put some bike lanes on this bridge. You got a long bridge here on the east side of Detroit. And it's called the Mack Bridge. And they only had but one side that had a sidewalk on it. It was a narrow sidewalk. So the bridge was set up for vehicles to go across, as well as people, but not a whole lot of people. We're not set up for bikes. So you share the sidewalk with people on the bridge, and then you really don't have nowhere to escape to. You can't go over the bridge. If you do, you'll be fell down to your death, especially on the high part. If somebody walking along, they got the right to the sidewalk, so you have to really, not be too aggressive on that sidewalk because you don't have a wide sidewalk. It's a narrow sidewalk. It's basically a people sidewalk, not a bike sidewalk. But now they put bike lanes on it, so they had to give up. It's a 3-lane bridge on both sides, so there's 6 lanes altogether. So now there's 4 lanes for the cars and 2 lanes for the bikes. So they had enough lanes on that bridge that they can put a bike lane on that bridge. And it's a pretty long bridge because it has a summit that you go up to. Then when you get up to the top part, it levels out. Then it comes back down. So it's a pretty long extension bridge for a bridge in the city. And now people always people did ride across there, but it was dangerous because you was in the car lane. But now there's bike lanes that's going to be on there. It's going to be a little more safer. I even feel safe enough to ride across that bridge now. Because I always wanted to ride across that bridge on the street side more so than the sidewalk side. So now I might even ride across the bridge, especially with my electric bike. So anyway, that's what's happening with the bike lanes. And we got another bike kit that we got. They came out with a kit that's similar to the gasoline kit. Because I put a gasoline kit together last year. I've yet to finalize that. So I'm going to finalize that hopefully in the near future. But it's made up, and it's chain driven instead of motor driven. The one I got now, it got an electric motor on the hub for the wheel. So it drives that wheel. But this one, it drives the sprocket in the back, or the ring in the back, your rear ring. You got to have a single ring. But it drives off that rear axle, and it drives that ring off a chain. So now you're going to have 2 chains, just like they do with the gasoline one. So it's going to be interesting. They just come out with something new that's on the market. Still battery operated with the same battery, 36 volt battery, a 250 watt motor, so it's a less watt motor, so it's less torque, or probably less torque with that chain. But it's not no 500 watt motor. It's a 250 watt motor, so you're not going to have a high top speed, but you should have a good speed. So that's my next experiment with bicycle, with the electric bike. So I had to get that. That was under $150, about $110. So that was a good price. I'm paying $140 for a wheel, so it's a little less than a wheel. Only you have to have that rear wheel. It's only going to go on the rear, and it can only have 1 ring on it. So it's the one with the brake on it, or single sprocket, or a single ring, or a single clog with a brake or without a brake. But they the one with the cassette. We got a group of rings on there. have more than one ring on there. And it's not the one that you got the 3-speed on there, because you got to take that axle out and put a longer axle on to put the extra ring on there. So it should be interesting to see how this works out. So that's my next adventure with electric bikes. So my first adventure was the electric wheel with the motors on there. And by me buying them on the low end, I always get something that burns out. And one wheel burned out with the motor, and the other one burned out with the converter. So I was hoping to make me, I got spare parts now. And I have a throttle that went out. So you always going to have something that go out with electrical work. Bikes. So it ain't 100%. They still learning. But like I said, it's a cheap mode of transportation. And you can get it done for about $400 or $500 on a bike. So then you rolling with an electric bike for less than $500. Now you buy one already made, put together, and they come up to about $500 or $600. So you spend extra $100 or $200. You got the bike and the electric motor on there with all the wiring inside the bike tubes. So you don't see that much wiring on the outside. But it's not interchangeable. That's the problem. If I want to change this motor to another bike, I can. That's why I like to have the aftermarket kit to do that. It gives me a little more versatility. I get tired of riding on this bike, I can put it on another bike might come in, I might decide to ride on that bike. So I've learned a lot about that over the last few years. It's been 3 or 4 years now. I'm going on my 4th year with the electric bike. So we see how this works out. But anyway, that's where I'm at this month. Month of October with food banks. Not too much high drama, but we're going to get ready for next month, because next month is November month, and we'll see how it's doing with the turkey chasers. And then the next group up is the turkey chasers. Right after Halloween, it'll be November, it'll be showtime for them, that's for sure. So that's when things really get tight, because there'll be too many people out there, and if you ain't first in line, you will get left out. If they don't get the turkey, they're going to leave with something. They ain't going to go home empty-handed, I'll guarantee you that. So anyway, adios, amigos. We'll holler back at you later.